Welcome, everybody. It is here. It is season 4, officially here. Sports Unfolded's Just for Kicks soccer show. And I've got Mr. Soccer himself sitting right here next to me. Well, kind of not next to me, but kind of, yeah. David Borts, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ron, and happy to be on back with you again, and happy to be involved in this and promotion of the sport that I have kind of loved since I was 8 years old. So
Yes, yes. And you have like a massive amount of knowledge of this game at probably every level.
it's come and it's absolutely it's sitting there, and yeah, it starts, as I said, playing as a kid, coaching kids, high school, playing college, playing semi-pro, and being a fan of a couple of pro teams, following around UK, Portugal, and now the our blessed RIFC in Rhode Island. Although not everybody is a fan of soccer, we now have a big professional sports team in Rhode Island.
Well, they will be a fan
Yeah,
if they keep watching this show.
yeah,
They
I think
will be a fan. Look, we are at season 4, episode 1. So we generally have done, sporadic shows with the Premier League, championship, stuff like that. We're going to try to bring this to you constantly. So if you like soccer, especially in the Rhode Island area, this is the show that you should be watching. We're going to have tons of information, tons of guests from now until whenever we get finished, David. We got a lot to do,
yeah.
for soccer in this state. So you're going to keep joining us today. We have the commissioner of the Rhode Island Super Cup League, Kaba Joof, who that name is just awesome. I mean, if that alone is a soccer name right there, you know, right there. But we're going to be picking his brain as well, finding out more about this Super Cup League here in Rhode Island. We're going to be talking some RIFC, of course, and we're going to be talking a lot about that Rhode Island Soccer Cup League. But first, before we go any further, you are watching us on Rhode Island Broadcasting on YouTube, Rumble, and Kick, and also on Twitch at RI_broadcasting. When it's all said and done, you can listen to us on Spotify, RedCircle, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio as well. So that is all at RI Broadcasting. You can go and follow us on all our social media like TikTok, MeWe, Blue Sky, Gab, Parlor. There's a whole bunch of them, but get on there, and you can even get like Sports Unfolded mugs at Patreon at Rhode Island Broadcasting. And you can also follow us on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, at Broadcasting RI. And if that wasn't enough, you can go to the website, RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. And this show will be on there, as well as all the episodes we do from here on out. You will be able to support the show on there. You will get some information. There'll be videos of some soccer matches that we will be posting up there that you can enjoy. And yeah, I mean, get on there. RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. So, whew, that's a mouthful. So,
Warm up.
David, we've got a special guest today. I love the fact that we got to talk a while before the show came on, and I'm trying to look for the graphics for it, and I don't know what I. But So let's introduce our guest, Commissioner of the Super Cup League here in Rhode Island, Kaba Joof. Let's bring him in. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, man?
This is exciting. It's our first show with a new format. We've got a lot of things going to be happening, and I'm excited for you being here, our first guest. So first thing is, why don't you give us a little rundown of what you do for the Rhode Island Super Cup League? Let's start there.
Excellent. Yes. So Rhode Island Super Cup League was started this year
Yep.
by the Rhode Island Soccer Association, and the president is David Borts. This is something that we've been really talking about for the past couple of years, trying to bring back competitive adult soccer in the state of Rhode Island. My
Right.
responsibility is around basically running the overall operation of the league in conjunction with David and also a couple of the board members of RISA, the Rhode Island Soccer Association.
Okay. So this is you were talking before the show about the league before this season that started. What was the thought process of going into this season? Like where was it now then, and how much can it be expected to grow through all this time?
Yeah. So a couple of years ago we did have a couple of leagues around, but my experience with soccer leagues all around the country and all around the world, I think the foundation of it has to be organization. The league
Right.
has to function well when you have organization, and also technology is nowadays is very important because there is so many moving parts around. You want to make sure you have all of those parts in one system so you can easily manage the players, the teams, the referees, and also the requirement of the game. And I think that's where this league has come from. We did have a couple of leagues. I think they did a wonderful job over the years. But as time goes, as soccer becomes very popular in this country, especially in Rhode Island, the
Yes.
requirements for the teams also changes. And I think what we're doing right now with the Rhode Island Super Cup is we are actually moving towards meeting that requirements. What teams request, and also what soccer requires nowadays, which means technology, and also you have to be fast to be able to respond to any issues that are out there. Make sure the registration is seamless. Make sure the referee assignment is seamless, and also disciplinary actions is taken on a timely manner. So what we're trying to do basically with this league is really make it a very professionally run league. It's not a professional league, but on the background, we want to make sure it's professionally run, and we're actually meeting the expectation of the teams, the team managers, and the players as well.
So David, when you started talking about this, and I remember you talking to me earlier in the summer saying you have some plans coming up, and what was your thought process on trying to make this league function properly and getting it out there into the public eye? I mean, what was the process and all of that?
Well, I think the thought process has evolved of conversations with the Soccer Association's board over the last couple of years. That I'm not going to criticize individuals, but the previous league was gradually going downhill, and the players and managers were frustrated. And both Kaba and I and some of the board members, we continuously receiving complaints. When is it going to get better? When are you going to get modern? And modern is online. Modern is web input, a website, continually monitoring and posting on it, because that's where we are in the world. People are on their cell phones and maybe occasionally with the luxury that the three of us right now are on our laptops as opposed to our cell phones. But that's life. And the guys playing up ball, even if they're in their 30s now, they grew up in the cell phone era, and that's where do you get your information, and where do you find out about how good somebody did on something? You go down. Let's not promote I won't use the FB word, but you go look online. And so the tremendous amount of complaints from players and managers over the years. And as I say, it's not a question of throwing anybody under the bus. It's just that people sometimes in this era have not been able to keep up with IT. And it's not saying it's simple. Right. I'm sure each of us has got maybe some contemporary friends who are still suffering or frustrating or saying, oh, can you help me with this or can you help me with that? So this is why we started this league. We also, over the years, and have been putting aside money for a large project. And initially, the idea was, well, one of the lacking objects in Rhode Island and a lot of areas is fields. We thought maybe we'd have enough money to help put money into getting a field, but that's beyond what we saved. But we put enough money together so we could work on a high-level, high-tech website that we could spend the money for it, that we would have enough to invest on this to get going. And we decided that money we've been saving for probably 20 years is going into this, and we're gonna make the investment, and we're gonna do it. And nothing is perfect, but I've been in that out enough now, about 6 or 7 games, just walk through, and I know probably 30-40% of the guys playing, and people will come up and talk and say, hey, look, this is really good. What a change. And again, nothing perfect, but we're putting on a good product. Also, there's some good soccer being played also. There are 1 or 2 teams in this league that are actually in an over 40 division. If you didn't know any better and you watch some of these teams play, you say, man, these guys are really good. And they are. We have
that's a great thing, right? When you have a good match, it self-promotes, right? When somebody goes and sees a great match, they're like, wow, that was pretty great. And, it makes them want to go back again. And so that's the promotion right there.
We got a good number of former pros playing in the league.
And that always helps too. So Kaba, the challenge is always finding, that money to keep leagues going. What's it been like with sponsors and finding those companies that really want to help and jump in promoting? How has that been going for this league?
Yeah, so in Rhode Island, with my experience also running a semi-pro team the past couple of years, sponsorship is always a big issue in Rhode Island when it comes to soccer. But I think what we have tried to do is we've tried to make this league to be really very affordable for the teams as well as the players, to make sure it's not a money issue, it's more or less a participatory thing for this year. We're out there, we're trying to really express ourselves, try to promote the league. Like David said, both online, we have Game of the Week that we put on a YouTube and we put it on the website for people to go out there and watch. Hopefully, as time goes, people will see that really, this is all about the community. It's not about me or David or even Risa. It's about Rhode Island. It's about how on a Sunday morning, how do we let some of these ladies and men go out there and really, participate, exercise, but also be a family gathering place. If you had an opportunity and come to some of these games, people bring their wives, they bring their kids, they bring the grandparents, uncles, everybody is there, to watch the games. And I think that's the whole idea, is to make this a place that people can come in, have fun, make it safe, but also watch enjoyable soccer. Like David said, we have some players that have played pro internationally. We have players that have played semi-pro. We have players that actually have played D1, D2, D3. They're a little bit older now, but they still love the game. They still have passion for this game, and they want to wake up Monday morning and travel to Ocean State Field in North Kingstown and really play soccer. They want to travel to Martin Middle School in East Providence. They want to go to Gaynor Street, and also they want to go to Chafee Field in Cranston, or go to Lusatana in Cumberland and really play soccer early in that morning with their family. So really, it's a great opportunity for companies that want to be involved in the community. Like I said, to sponsor a cup, to sponsor maybe game of the week, and we also have an opportunity to sponsor maybe the best player of the week. That's something we're really looking to do. The best player of the week, the team of the week, and also at the end of the year we'll have the league champion, and we do have a cup game that's going to come at the end of the week, at the end of the season, because what we want to do is we don't want teams to give up. We want teams to be engaged throughout the year. So at the end of the year, we'll start a cup game. So that's a great opportunity for somebody to sponsor a cup, a league cup game,
Right.
And the winner will get a trophy at the end of the year.
That's great. So if you want, you can give a little shout out to your big sponsors, because they are a very important part of this process. So who are your big sponsors that have really gotten you to this point as far as the league is concerned?
Yes, so right now, really, our biggest sponsor is the Rhode Island Soccer Association, like David said. They've been saving money for the past 20 years trying to have something like this. And initially, in the initial start of this league, we really did not have a budget or money, cash in hand. So I presented a budget and an idea to David and the RISA board, and they basically jumped on this idea and actually put the money right up front to get the technology that's needed to run this league. So as a league right now, like I said, we don't have any cash flow for now, but we did get a big sponsor from the Rhode Island Soccer Association, which represents Rhode Island. So all of the amateur soccer players in the state of Rhode Island, for me, are our big sponsor. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to David and the board for really buying on this idea. And I think so far we're halfway through the season, and it has been very successful with the feedback we're getting from the teams, from the players, and even from the fans that are coming in and watching their family members play. It's just been, outstanding.
Yeah, so now we need some other companies to step up, like CVS would be a perfect one. So we could use some of these companies that are based here in Rhode Island to really step up and be part of this. I mean, everything helps, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let's go, Rhode Island. Let's go. Let's get in there and let's show some support for these, not only just the teams, but the players themselves. Like, support the players. I mean, that's what it's ultimately got to depend on, those players to be there in these games to bring you the entertainment, and we need to show them support some way or another.
Yeah,
So,
and also the big thing is, like, some of these players are actually employees of some of these big companies around the state. So they're not only players; they're actually employees. And like I said, you talking about CVS, talk about healthcare, having 30-something-year-old in the morning going out there running, sweating, involving in sporting activity is excellent, I think, for the state, and also excellent for the healthcare industry in general.
yeah. So looking at some of these teams, I'm seeing like Academica FC, Dynamo Morabeza.
Yes.
I mean, how do they come up with these names? Because I mean, I know there's a team Mexico in the league now. Is this just like a bunch of players that are of Mexican descendants? I mean, is that what this is, or is it a name of a company, or how is it working with those?
Yes. So most of these teams is basically a name of a club that a couple of friends put together. So, for example, I'll give you an example. The Mexico team you're talking about is not only Mexicans that are playing there. So the Mexico team, they had Mexicans, Guatemalan, Honduras, El Salvador, Americans. I mean, everybody is playing there. The
Yep.
same thing also with Morabeza. Morabeza, the foundation of the team is from Cape Verde, from the region called Brava. But the players are also all over Cape Verde. They're also all over the US. They have Spanish players. They have US players. They have players all over the place. Academica is also the same thing. Academica, if I'm not mistaken, is actually also the foundation is from Praia. I think there might be a team in Cape Verde called Academica, but the players are from
there is
all over the. There's one. Yeah, so there's a team in Cape Verde called Academica, but all the players are from all over the place. We also have Real Colombia, which
Yes.
plays out of Lusitana. The foundation is, yes, Colombian players, but they have players from Ivory Coast, from Peru, from Bolivia, from the US, from Portugal. They have players from all over the world. So all of these teams have a mixture of players from all over the world.
Hey, Real Colombia has a guy from Liberia who I know.
Yeah.
And when I went out to the game, I was talking to him. It's Pony. I said, Pony, what are you doing playing for Colombians? He said, oh, well, they came, they asked. He said, there's no Liberian team this year, so I'm with them.
Yeah, exactly. So most of these teams are very, for example, you do have the team from Warren. Warren, the foundation is mostly players from Portugal, but they also have Americans. They have mixture of players from all over the place. We have Prancing Portuguese Club. They have players from all over the place. They have Russ Carroll. Russ is from the US, but his heritage is from England. His dad is originally from England. So they have Portuguese, they have Albanians. I think they have somebody from the Middle East. Two, they have somebody from Egypt. I know one of the players is from Egypt.
Wow.
So the player, that's what I love about Rhode Island. We're such a small
very
state,
diverse.
but the population is so diverse, it's unbelievable. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to draw from, and I know I have friends that are from in the Cumberland area, and there's so many soccer fans there, because it's very heavily Portuguese, and it's all about Benfica. It's all about Benfica.
Yes.
I've heard for years and years, from all these friends. It's like, oh, I'm gonna watch the Benfica game. Come down. Join us, and it's like that. So many places.
Yeah.
You get these little clumps of people, and then it just balloons from there, and then this soccer thing is just out of this world everywhere else, in the world. And it's those small communities that are starting to make this thing grow and grow and grow. It's like planting a seed, and it just keeps growing from there. And so you have these communities that are starting to build these teams. And so they're going to have all their fans in their homes, in their families, friends' homes, so it does catch fire. And hopefully this is what happens here with this league. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Because
so talking about catching fire, like it's funny when you go to some of these games and you're watching the games on the sideline, you're basically hearing people arguing with Benfica, Porto, Benfica Sporting, it's just Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal. I mean, they're watching the game, but they're arguing about Premiership, La Liga. It's just it's fun. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, and it's very fiery. Soccer fans are serious.
Yes,
they're serious fans. They live and die by it. I mean, it is when you watch like the World Cups and stuff like that. I mean, it is another world, and it's like you have all these people chanting and cheering. They're all in unison, and what they do is just amazing, and it's just massive scale. And everybody has got their faces painted. You know, they're all wearing the same colors. It is just, it's a different level. It's a different level of a sport.
Ron, either in the World Cup or actually in the Euro Championship, when you get here to the finals, and in 2004, I was in Portugal for the Euro. I can't even tell you what the whole country was like. My son and I were there. We're riding in a subway in Lisbon. At one point, the driver in the subway starts blowing his horn and tapping the brake on and off. And someone said, "What's going on?" I said, "Portugal just scored." He and I, we flew back from, unfortunately, we flew back.
On forever.
We flew back the day of the finals, and we're flying back from Lisbon to Newark, and the plane, the pilot is broadcasting commentary on the game that Portugal's in, which they lost over the plane in intercom.
I mean, it's like a life of its own. It's a life of its own. And, we can say all we want about sports here in the United States. Football is probably as close to that as possible. I still don't think it matches the level of soccer fans. It's not there. I mean, these people it's just a different lifestyle. It's impressive, to be honest with you. It really is impressive. Danny is here. He's saying USA all the way for the World Cup. Danny's a regular for our Sports Unfolded show. Danny, are you a soccer fan? Because I feel like he's got to be, because he likes all the sports. He has a favorite team and everything.
Well, he must be a soccer fan. Looking at all his comments, yeah, I think he's definitely a soccer fan.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's got to be a soccer fan. So,
hey, look, it's a tough year. It's a tough year for USA next year.
Yeah.
The competition should be good as long as we allow all the people to get in through the airports. But in terms of fans, but the next point is the U.S. national team it's not at a top level right now. There are people who've got complaints. There are people that we have developed a lot of good players, but as a high level club right now, I don't know what the FIFA rankings are right now. We're not near the top right now.
No.
And we're going to see over the next probably 3-4. There are going to be a few prelim games that they're playing in. Hopefully the coach brings all the good young talent back from Europe and they get to play. It's hard to tell. And, if the U.S. can get to the quarterfinals or semis, it will be a game changer for the following 10 years for soccer in the U.S. at least.
Yeah.
The year after the World Cup that was here, the last one, apparently youth soccer had like a increase of like 500,000 registrants in the year after the last World Cup in the U.S. The adult level, not so much, but the youth, it was an incredible explosion.
So why do you think that the women? Oh, go ahead, Kaba.
No. What I was going to say, I think the U.S., although right now they are struggling, but they do have the home field advantage. So that would make a big difference. I'm like I said, lately I'm not a fan of the way they play, but they have, I have to give them credit. They do have a good coach. I think if we're able to put together a good core of players that can, hold on to the ball a little bit more, be a little bit more technical on the ball and pass the ball and move the ball. I think, I think we can cause some damage in the World Cup. But, I mean, I know we're going to talk about the women's. If you look at the women's 10, 20 years ago, they are far ahead of everybody. But if you look at now, there's teams that are coming up. And I think that's what happened to world soccer. So the U.S. is not only out there competing against the Brazils, the Argentinas. I mean, if you look at South America now, Ecuador, my God, they're a very young team and they're doing very well. So it's going to be, it's going to be a good, very good World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
The women have had so much success in the last 30 years, maybe. It just, it just never materialized with the men. And I don't know if it's just a strategy thing, a style, or if it's just the men are just not as talented, you know, in in the men's divisions rather than the women's divisions. Is it because there are less women's teams, or is it because just the men aren't being developed as well as the women are? And that's goes back to fundamental, recruiting and just training these players to be more like European players or South American. Is it the style?
I mean, so like so I have a little bit experience in this because I coach girls soccer high school right now. So I've coached both the boys side, the men's, and the girls side. I think, and I know a lot of people are not gonna like to hear this, but I think in the U.S. the girls are a little bit more technical on the ball. They're physical, but they're a little bit more technical with the ball, and they really think about the game a little bit more than the boys side, whereby sometimes the boys, I think sometimes they focus too much on being an athlete, the running, the physicalness, the long ball, whereby the girls play together. They're a little bit more
Yeah.
technical. They will, they take a touch, they will dribble one, two, use their body, pass the ball, whereby the men's is a little bit more, from the defense
It's like a
to the
decision
forward.
making.
Yes. I mean, that is a big part of it. I mean, I find coaching girls, they're a little bit more receptive to taking tactical advice
Yeah,
compared to the boys.
that's an interesting thing. And so you have the experience with coaching, both sides of, the genders, and how can you get through to the men? I mean, are they that hard headed?
Well, no, they're not hard-headed. But I used to tell when I was coaching the boys side, I think sometimes they watch too much of this FIFA game, the video games, and they come in the field and they want to try to do some of that stuff. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it because I always say I think the person that spends too much time watching the game, seeing how people
They're
play the
interested
game,
in the
especially the
flash.
professional. Yes. So you do get a little bit more ideas about the game when you're in the field, but I think sometimes you just have to do the basics well.
Yeah.
Soccer, you have to
And
do the basics well.
I
And
think,
also,
go ahead, Kaba,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
What I was going to
yeah.
say is I also think there's been this problem in U.S. youth soccer. One is the kids who have been getting the best training over a number of years are the ones whose parents have the most money. And for a long time, the Federation was not involved in really going out to identify and then bring into advanced training the kids who are just out there who like to play ball and who, like in other countries, are playing out in the street after school, kicking the ball around, having fun, learning things on their own. And, it was more like, oh, my mom and dad are putting me in this big club, right? And this big club, I coached for one of those for a few years. It's like, it's okay, but it's just about money for the club, and they get some coaching, but it's just not the same. And we've been missing out on players for a long time, and
Yeah,
I
money
think
doesn't equal talent.
no, it doesn't. And the other thing we miss in this country is street ball.
Yeah.
And we've got street ball in basketball, but we definitely don't have it in soccer.
Yeah.
And if you get a chance ever to go to a country, and Kyle, you grew up in a country where people play ball in the street. I've been to the Cape Verde Islands a couple of times. I've seen kids playing ball in the street, and I've been in Portugal. They play on the beach all over the place. It's like they play ball to have fun, to learn how to beat the bigger guy who they're playing against, and they just figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah, making that statement that I had, money doesn't equal talent. So we got to find out how to get, inner city kids to start playing. Like all you need is one ball. You can have a group of guys. If you have one ball, you can play soccer.
Yes.
It's the same principle as basketball.
Yes, yeah,
You just gotta want to just try it. A lot of it is that people just aren't, you know, exposed to games like this. And when you're in a city, it's easy just to throw a basketball at somebody and then they know what to do. But you want to reach out, gotta just throw them a soccer ball. You don't need a hoop. You don't need anything. All you need is the ground, and you're
yeah,
on it.
yeah,
That's all
yeah,
you need.
yeah, I mean, so David talking, back in the day, back home, I mean, you don't even need shoes. I mean, like I said, we will tie bags together as long as it's round. I mean, we're on the street and we're passing, we're juggling the ball, and you remember we were talking about the fundamentals, the basics. That's how you learn the basics. That's how you
Yeah,
learn juggling the ball. That's how you learn locking your ankle. That's how you learn opening your hips. It's just playing free ball,
yeah.
And then when you go to the training, when you go to some of the premier team, and I'm going to give some of these premier teams and also the MLS a big credit. I think over the past couple of years, with the MLS Next program that they just started with some of the academy programs, leagues that they have. At least now some of these kids are getting higher level coaching on how to really think about the game, how to pass, how to also just, analyze the game a little bit. Because, the girls side, like we were talking about, I think girls, when they're committed to something, they're a little bit more committed than the boys.
Yeah.
When the girls say, what, we want to be good at this, they really, really focus. I mean, I live right behind a soccer field, and I see, these are some of them are my students and other students in middle school. They're out there alone playing with the ball, hitting the ball on the wall, hitting the ball on the net.
It's
You
how,
know,
how you become great, right? I
yes,
mean, it's all
yes,
those little things that you don't think players like Ronaldo and Messi, they didn't do that stuff. They were just kicking around that ball with them just by themselves,
absolutely.
learn just perfecting dribbling the ball, perfecting all these little things, right?
Yeah,
Those little things, when perfected, makes you a great player.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, just taking the ball with a wall and just locking your ankle, passing, touching one and one. It's gonna help you. Number one, muscle memory. Soccer is all about muscle memory. Everybody
Absolutely.
asks the question, well, how can Messi or Ronaldo dribble the ball and the ball doesn't move away from their feet? Guess what? It's years of freestyle, just dribbling the ball without
Yeah.
even a coach.
Certain
And
amount
after
of
a while,
time.
it just becomes a muscle memory. As soon as you get the ball, you know exactly what you're gonna do.
Basically like going to exercise, staying in shape. Yeah, Danny, it's exactly that. You just never done training. Never done. So you just keep doing it and you keep doing it, and it gets better as time goes on. And those players, from Pele to like I said, Messi now, those players, that's what they did to become great. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the work. It just doesn't come instantly. You can have all those flashes, like, you know, I remember the first time I saw Pele do the bicycle kick. Yeah, that's all great, but you think that's how he scored most of his goals? No, no. And that's just the flash. That's what players are looking at. It's like, I want to be able to do that, but you got to learn the other stuff first.
Yeah, I
All
think
the other stuff.
sometimes so, like David was saying, I think sometimes in the US, we are somewhat too much into winning.
Yeah,
Winning is fantastic. Winning is great. But at the
yeah,
at the younger level, like you said, you have to learn the foundations. I mean, you talked about one, basically my favorite soccer player, Pele. You if you
he's
watch
still
his
my
movie,
favorite.
yeah, if you watch his movie, talk about that bicycle kick. Look at what he was doing to learn how to do that bicycle kick. It was not in a soccer field.
Right, right.
So once if you know how to do that the way he was doing it, In the soccer field, it's very easy,
Yeah.
because I think the way he was training was more difficult than in the field. So in the field, if you have the right ball and it's the right moment to do it, it just becomes natural because it's an instinct, because you've learned how to do it in a harder environment, a harder situation. So like you said, it's the basic, it's the foundation. And I think that's what we need to go back to, is really start from the foundation. Listen to me, in the US here, we're very lucky. For soccer, we are very lucky. I mean, we have some of the best facilities. Why do you think all these teams come here during the summer? Because even, I'm not talking about the professional side, I'm talking about the high schools and the college level. We have some of the best facilities that anybody can have.
Yeah, a lot of these countries don't have anything that resembles that.
Oh, it's not even close. It's not even close. So some of these professional teams, our colleges have better facilities than the professional teams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's the sad part,
Yep. So we have the environment is set right for soccer in the US. We have the facilities. I mean, we have a lot of athletes. I think playing multiple sports is a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because if you're an athlete, sometimes, for you to become a soccer player is a little bit easier. You still have to learn the other stuff, but being an athlete, you're either an athlete or not. You're either fast or not. So I don't think a coach can teach you to become an athlete. A coach cannot teach you to become faster or fast, but they can teach you to become a little bit more what I would call the fundamentals of soccer, which is, controlling the ball, dribbling, passing, reading the game, scanning. Those things a coach can teach you. But the rest, I think, and we're lucky, we already have that foundation in this country. We just need to develop players to be able to, for me, the first touch is critical, because the first touch, gets you out of trouble all day.
Danny says, put in effort, time, as something just popped up over it, and lots of practice. Practice makes perfect. And it is so true. It is so true. And look, soccer might be one of the most technical games there is. I mean, if you don't have those technical skills in soccer, you're not going to make it, on the field. You're not going to make it because you'll get exposed very, very easily from other players. So you got to put the work in. Let's talk a little bit about the standings of these teams. You have 11 teams in the league. Intelligentsia FC, is that it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
They haven't lost. Oh wait, they lost one. 4-0-1. Right now they're out in front. I mean, how good is this team?
Well, I mean, this team is very good, but like I said, we're halfway during
Oh, we just lost you for a second. Is everybody frozen?
I'm not.
Okay, so I guess we lost him. So David, you got these teams. Intelligentsia out in front. I mean, 4-0-1. That's a pretty good record. But you also have Santo Antao United.
Santo Antao. It's an island in Cape Verde. Yeah.
So they're right on their heels, and they have a game against Dynamo this coming week. So that's a tough matchup. You got number 2 and number 3 going against each other.
It'll be a good game.
Yeah, so you got number 2 and 3 teams going against each other this week. That is at 11 a.m. at Martin Middle School. Oh wait, no, is that an old match? What's the game upcoming? I think I have an old match here. What's this week's games, Kaba?
Yeah.
Because I think he's struggling.
Yeah.
I think we're losing you.
So this weekend, I think.
I'm not. I'm not getting what you're saying because we're losing your connection. David, do you have the schedule in front of you?
Not in front, but if we don't get it, I am sure that Kaba can get it to us when we're off today. We'll make sure of it.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, if we
those
can
are
get
some good
that.
Yeah.
games.
Yes.
Yeah, if we can get that schedule, that would be awesome.
And I can also add
Yes.
to some.
I'll
Oh,
definitely
there's
get
Kaba.
that to you today.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so look, we only have like a few minutes left. So, um, what about Rhode Island FC? What are we looking at from them for the rest of the season?
Let me make it as brief as I can, also, because I've been doing a lot of liaison work back and forth with them because they've been reaching out to develop in the community. So I've been kind of an intermediary for a lot of that. I think that the team is, listen, they've done well. The stadium is absolutely gorgeous. They really
Yes.
they really hit it big with that stadium. I can tell you their game day operations are spectacular. Their staff is so well trained in the stadium. If you're lost in that stadium for 5 minutes, you're found and directed to where you need to go. I've even found I'd be a promoter of this too. Their hiring in the immigrant and minority community is huge. They are a great employer. I have season tickets. The place I sit, when I walk into the store every time as a guy, we say hello. I've talked and we chat enough about soccer that I found out where he's from. He's from Angola, and we talked a lot about soccer back home. Every time I walk in there, he says, "Hey, what are you doing today?" I said, "How are you doing?" It's like they're real, they're game day ops. And I can tell you without sharing some stuff, because I've looked at a few slides and some presentations I think that were done for them. It's all about stadium ops, presentation, community involvement. That's going to be next, because my hope, and I think I may have some involvement, they're going to be developing a nonprofit community organization later this year that's going to be a segue from immigrants and young players into soccer programs, eventually with the idea of developing them as full professional talent. That will be it'll be a nonprofit. There's no money in it for them, but I think that they're following some models which involve doing that, and I think that's coming towards the end of this year.
They've really made their mark in Pawtucket, really. Like right from the beginning, I know, look, what the city went through with the Pawtucket Red Sox, everybody was a little worried about this team coming in, and they have been nothing but a positive influence on the city. And what they're doing for the community is just incredible. Incredible.
They have good ownership. The actual owner, Brett Johnson, is a very interesting and committed person to the community. A new president this year, whose name is Dave Pert, who's got a background in sports. And if you want to go, just go look him up, all right, rather than tell you what his background is. He's so experienced in professional sports. And then the stadium designer, this guy, Paul Byrne, who designed and was supervised the building of the Commanders Stadium in D.C., just amongst one. So, they have really gone top shelf in terms of their leadership, and they are really they have a model to try to make further community impact and long term.
This has been eye opening since they came into Rhode Island. Even before they started with the games, they were out and about. Putting themselves out there for the locals to get to know who they are. And I know because I was I was working in a place that was literally a block away from them, and they came in, and I talked to them for like, I don't know, like 30 minutes. And it was a pleasure just talking to those people that came in, because they weren't like the top dogs by no mean. But they were working in that office, working hard and trying to get things accomplished. And I think they've done a very good job as a whole, especially with the Pawtucket Red Sox leaving. They filled the void like you could not have imagined. And I
Yeah.
think they've been wonderful. And I wish them all the best, I'd like to go out there. See, when you have a spare ticket, David, you gotta get me up there.
I
I'm surprised you don't have like some big massive owner's box or something.
I know where it. Listen, I've been to it, but I have not sat in it. I know where the owner's box is, but it's not where my seats are. But it's not even. Listen, there are some fancy places in there. I think the owner's got a box. There's a one that the president has, but it's more open. Like he sits with a bunch of people out
Yeah.
at the table, so it's a little more personable. So they've got stuff like that, but I think they're more. They're drawing over 7,000 a game.
That's great.
And
Great.
They are really hitting it.
I think, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow, especially if it stays affordable for people. Because let's face it, it's hard to go up to a New England Revolution game or a New England Patriot game where most people can't afford to bring a family.
Mm-hmm.
This is affordable. You can go there. You can enjoy a game. You're going to get a very high quality game, and it's not gonna bleed you dry.
Yeah.
So that's the important thing for families, right?
Absolutely.
You think a family's gonna be able to go to a Red Sox game anymore? No.
By the way, sometime over the next month or so, I'm going to invite on one day. There's a guy who we put on our board, just as we have a liaison with RIFC. He's a young guy. He's early 30s. It happens to be he's a ticket rep. He's also the son of the president, and he's a very nice guy. He's actually traveling in all places, Germany this week. Otherwise, he was going to come on also, and introduce him to also, because he's a good contact for people out in the world who say, "Oh man, I really would like to grab a couple of tickets." He can tell you where to go besides the website, besides the go to SeatGeek and stuff like that. He's a nice connection for that.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming and watching the first show of the season. All new format. We've got David here every week. We're going to have all kinds of guests coming. Kaba, it's been a pleasure.
Yes. So Ron, before we wrap up, I actually have the schedule up. So
good.
Yeah, so we do have a couple of exciting games actually this Sunday. So we have at 9 o'clock, there will be a game, Intelligentsia against Shamrock. It's going to be at Martin Middle School in East Providence. And then at the same field, there will be a 9 o'clock game, which is going to be Academica FC versus Dinamo Dabrava, Marabeza. That's going to be at 11 o'clock at Martin Middle School. We also have a 9 a.m. game at Gano Street between Mexico and San Nicolau. We also have a 9 o'clock game. It's going to be at Chafee Field, Cranston Portuguese Club against San Antoine United FC. And then an 11 o'clock game at Lusitana in Cumberland between Real Colombia against Providence FC Renegades. That game is going to be at 11 o'clock at Lusitana Field in Cumberland. So it's going to be an exciting Sunday. So we're looking for all of your support to come and support the guys, and also to come and enjoy some wonderful soccer games this weekend on Sunday.
Yeah, so get out there to these games, support these teams, and so that way you get to see, a wide variety of games in different places, and you'll see some great matches for sure. I'm just ecstatic over all of this, and I'm gonna get out there to one of those games, Kaba. So I'm gonna be coming and visiting you. I'm gonna be coming.
Yeah, excellent.
It was such a joy having you here, man. It was great. I loved it. Great to start out the new season just right. I love it, love it, love it. So thank you, Danny, for being here and commenting. Danny, it's Haba, not Kaba. Okay. Look, I can't wait for next time, David. I can't wait to see what you got in store for us. I can't believe this show flew right by. Flew right by. We had a bunch of people watching live, and I thank you. So thank you for being here, Danny. Thank you for commenting, and everybody else. Just keep going, keep following, and we're gonna be showing some of those matches, Kaba.
Yes,
So
thank you.
whenever you have a match that you have on video, we can air it on the channel.
Hey,
Excellent.
suggestion, just mutual for all three of us. Maybe we can get their link for this stream on our website.
Yes.
For the league, which would be.
Oh, I will. It'll all be up there. I've been building the page today, so
Great.
It'll be up there.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, David. Thank you
right,
so
thanks,
much,
guys.
Kaba. We'll see everybody next time. Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.